Hi, well, we're in the food and drink hour of our fabulous Microbiz Matters Day, and I'm lucky enough to be joined by Matt, and Matt's got this fantastic business called Two Fingers Brewing Company, and I'm also going to be joined by a person who's helping us a great deal on this whole thing, which is the wonderful Paul Lancaster, and he's helping as well. So what I'd like to do is, first of all, Matt, I think it's best if you could perhaps tell us why you created this social enterprise, and what would be your advice, to anybody else thinking of trying to raise monies, if you like, for a good cause, as well as do something that they love doing. So, just describe, what it is you do, and give some advice to anybody else that might be thinking of trying to do this kind of thing.
Great, of course. Well, so, yeah, I'm Matt, and I'm one of 7 co-founders of Two Fingers Brewing Co, the only beer brand in Britain that gives back to the men that drink it by giving all profits to Prostate Cancer UK. Two Fingers Brewing Co is actually my second job. Myself and my colleagues are all professional marketers by trade, and launching Two Fingers Brewing Co and our first beer, Aurelio, which is here, is our way of using our love of craft beer and the skills we have in our day jobs to support a cause that's really close to home for us, because several of our colleagues were affected directly by prostate cancer, and we also came to realize just how high the chances are of any man getting it. So 1 in 8 men in Britain will get prostate cancer, rising to 1 in 4 black men, and we wanted to do something about it, but frankly we were too lazy to run the marathon, so we thought we'd launch a beer brand.
Great.
So our small business has been about 3 years, going about 3 years now, although we just launched publicly last January. It was kind of 2 years in the making before that. So we just started small with a kind of a little germ of an idea, and in our first year it was about prototyping, if you like. So we had the idea and we thought, right, we want to make it happen on a small scale and see if it has traction. So we spent that year making contacts with a local brewer, kind of coming up with some of the branding, thinking about what kind of beer we wanted to make, and then kind of in November that year we had like a little launch party on the 1st of November, and but we only created like about 1,000 bottles. And the reaction of that launch party absolutely blew us away. We sold most of the 1,000 bottles we created on that evening, and we had like local restaurants saying that they wanted to stock the beer. Everyone was saying how they loved it, and so we were determined the next year to not just make it something that we sold to family and friends, to try and make it bigger, to try and bring it nationwide. And so we spent the last year, the year before last actually, and now we're in 2015.
Yeah.
We spent really making a step up, building a national supply chain, finding a much bigger brewer, distributor, label guys, people who could introduce us to the big supermarket chains. And then we kind of set everything up, and were absolutely blown away by the reaction we had by the big supermarkets to the idea. And then we launched in Tesco in January last year, then went into Morrison's in May, Ocado in June, and yeah, it's just been a fantastic ride for us that kind of is keeping on going, and we still do it alongside our day jobs as our way of kind of giving back. But yeah, we've been absolutely blown away by the support people have had, and both the kind of compliments, both for the charitable ambitions, but also for the quality and the taste of the beer as well.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's a golden ale, that, isn't it? Is it a fairly golden one, and you've got 2 more on the go? Come in.
What's that, sorry?
You've got 2 more beers as well as this one that you're developing?
Yeah, we've got a couple. We've got plans for more beers in the pipeline, and what we've learned over the last year is to walk before we run. Really,
Yeah.
I think we've got 1 beer at the moment, Aurelio, which is a fine.
I don't know, Paul. Have we lost? Matt?
Hello.
Um,
Hello, you still there, Matt? We missed a little bit there. Do you want to just repeat the last sentence that you said?
Sure. Okay. So we chose Golden Ale because it's a wonderful crossover between a lager and an ale, and
Right.
our brand and our business is all about bringing men together. So we thought we wanted a beer for all beer lovers to share and enjoy. But as we grow, we want to create a wider range so that more people can help more men by drinking. Out and so on. So those are definitely the plans for the next few months or so.
Okay.
And tell me, Matt, would you advise other people to use this kind of model for a social enterprise where you're all actually working still, yeah, and you've got other jobs, but you're actually collaborating and combining on this venture? Because it seems like the way you're doing it creates the maximum amount of money for prostate cancer, for example, doesn't it?
Oh, sorry.
I was just saying your model of you all working normally, yeah, and getting involved in the by collaborating together seems to be a good way of making sure that the majority of the money made out of the beer sales can be invested in prostate cancer.
We might have lost Matt temporarily there. Can you hear us, Matt? No, I think he's gone. Okay, it's a good point. We'll wait for Matt to come back in. It's a good point you make there, Tony. I was just thinking the same, that a lot of people would dream of just quitting their day job and making the beer, the brewing company, their sole focus. But what's really interesting about those guys is that they're still keeping the day job and they're running this in their spare time. And like you say, because they're not having to take a salary, they're not having to take any profits out to pay for themselves. All the money's just either going to cover the costs of the brewing and the manufacturing, and then anything else is going straight back into the charity, which is.
And I mean, you and I have discussed before, Paul, about the fact that a lot of people try to, well, they give up the job really when, especially if it's a social enterprise, something they've got a real passion of. The best thing is actually to add in the extra hours, and as Matt says, build it. Yeah, build it little piece by piece by piece, and that's it's kind of like bootstrap, don't borrow kind of thing, isn't it? Really, it's a lean startup, and they've taken a long time to get to this point. But it sounds like really strong business model to me.
Yeah, well, if they're selling into the supermarkets now, then that is a success. That's huge success. And I remember reading about them in the Metro as well last year, I think it was. And so the fact that they've hit the mainstream as well, and it obviously helps that they've got their advertising background. Their advertising and marketing is going to be a very, very beneficial. But also, there's 7 of them doing it. There's not just one person or 2 people trying to do everything. They can share the burden of running this business in their spare time alongside the day job.
I tell you, one of the problems we've got in this food and drink hour, of course, is every time anybody talks about drink or food or various things, I really fancy a pint of that golden ale at the moment, I tell you. I really do. But anyway, I've got to be very professional about it, haven't I? I can't really do anything about it at the moment.
Well, maybe at lunchtime or something. Maybe at some point we could get someone to nip out to a local Tesco or something and pick up a bottle of Aurelio and bring it back in.
That would be great. I think I should sample everything that's in the food and drink hour.
Yeah.
What are we going to do about seeing if we can get Matt back?
I'll see if I can invite him to join again. It looks like he has disappeared, unfortunately, but I'll try inviting him back in. This is the beauty of live broadcasting, as it were. But we're going to have a load of guests throughout the day, aren't we? We're doing this interview with Matt, and we've got other people join us later on as well. But
Sure.
what do you think? I can kind of see. I can see why people might be really, if they really want to start a business, why they might want to quit the day job just so they can crack on and get on with launching something new, because it is going to take you much longer to get where you want if you're only doing it in your spare time. And there's only so many hours in the day, and people have busy lives as well. They've got their own lives to lead, and they're tired as well. So, but do you think more and more? Have you met more and more people who are starting their business in their spare time and doing it slowly?
I think if you think about the Rockers, really, we could only have done that. Tina and I could only have funded that, which we have. We've funded it over 3 years. Every pound that's gone into the Enterprise Rockers over the 3 years in the launch period is because we have our own businesses, our own individual businesses anyway, if you like. So it's not that different from Matt's model, really. And I'm just thinking, for a social enterprise, I think that's good, because I think one of the great dangers is that if all of your salary has got to be paid out of the business itself, then that often gets in the way of the social purpose of what your passion was to actually create. And that's why so many social enterprises, they start off and they get a grant, if you like, and that becomes their salary, or they get some government funding or some community funding or whatever. But of course, because all of their income is reliant now on the social enterprise, when that gets pulled, then it's a real problem for them, if you like, and the social purpose often gets lost in the fact that they've got to earn a living again, and they've got to eat. So I'm really intrigued, and I think it's just like an outstanding achievement of what Matt and his 6 friends have actually done. I think it's just great. I think it's a great example for other people.
Yeah, definitely. I was just going to say it's a great example to show what is achievable, even if you do something in your spare time. Because before working for Sage, I spent a long time working in the not-for-profit sector, as you know, like local enterprise agencies and working with charities and community organisations and things like that. And there was a phrase that people used to say. They used to talk about mission drift. So you start with a really pure purpose. Of what you're trying to achieve, but then, as you say, after a while, because you're trying to keep yourself going, you start applying for different pots of funding, and you start doing what the funders want you to do rather than what you originally set out to do. And you can get into that cycle where you're just doing things just to keep yourself going. But by doing it the way they're doing it and the way you're doing it as well, it keeps the mission pure, doesn't it? It means that you don't have to...
it is, Paul. I think it's not only is it keeping the mission pure, you're allowed, because you're not stressed on I must earn my salary out of this kind of thing, then they keep the fun in it. I don't know, you've probably haven't had a chance, but I've looked at their website and various things, and it's funny. You know what I mean? It's the whole thing is very amusing. Lots of bags and bags of personality, like the beer, I think. But you know what I mean? It's. But I think you can only do that if you feel quite comfortable inside, kind of thing. So I think it's great. Really do. Yeah, and it's a good phrase. Is that mission drift? I think a lot of people start off. It's really good. Okay. Well, I guess, Paul, that we should. We've probably run enough of this kind of. It's pretty. We can spend more time with Matt, but at least he explained to us how it all works, and it's just dynamite, isn't it? Absolutely fantastic. So,
like you said, it's making me thirsty. So I think I'm.
Well, I'm going to drink 9 bottles of that lovely golden ale in 9 minutes. I think that's the way to finish it. Okay. Thanks, Paul.
Okay, see you in a bit. Bye.
Okay.